Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I transformed this corner next to my fireplace from this cluttered open shelf situation to this built-in cabinet with floating shelves and slat wall design. I absolutely love how it turned out. As always, you can find all the step-by-step instructions as well as all the links in the blog post linked below in the description. And if you haven't seen it yet, I also gave the fireplace area a complete makeover. I've made sure to link that video in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Hey DIY friends, ready to transform your living space without breaking the bank? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie from Home with the Daniels. I'm here to empower you to turn your Pinterest dreams into reality one project at a time. Join me for budget-friendly tips and tutorials. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to tap the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Alright, let's get started. First up, the least fun part, emptying and cleaning out the area. Before we can dive into the exciting stuff, we need a clean, clutter-free workspace. So I'm cleaning out everything around the fireplace, including all of my emotional support plant babies, and giving it a good wipe down to remove any dust or debris. Once I cleared out all the items, it was time to remove the shelves. These were actually one of the first DIY projects I tackled in this house over 6 years ago. Back when I was just starting out and still learning. Let's just say they definitely look like a beginner DIY project. Because I had to use really long screws to secure the 2x2 pieces of wood as shelf brackets, removing them was definitely a struggle. I really had to put my back into it, and I ended up making a big hole in the wall while I was removing the drywall anchors. I'm done removing the shelves, so I just have to patch up these holes that I left behind, and we're gonna remove this panel. I'm pretty sure I nailed them in. I don't think I glued them. Hopefully I didn't, but we're about to find out. Next, it was time to take down the wood panels. Luckily, I didn't glue them. They were just nailed on, which made removing them so much easier. So I removed them using my trim puller, and I was able to pry them off quickly and cleanly. This took me about 40 minutes to do. I'm so glad I didn't glue them on because it would have been a mess and a mission to remove. After removing the wood panels, it was time to patch up the holes and prime the wall. I forgot to get a clip of this, but first I patched up the holes on the wall, especially the area that got damaged from the drywall anchors. So all those white patches you see on the wall, that's where I patched it up. Since I was only painting the inside of the nook, I taped off the edges to make sure I didn't get any paint on the outside. Eventually I do plan on painting the outside wall because it's definitely overdue for a fresh coat, but with 20-foot ceiling, painting the entire family room will be a massive project. One that will likely take at least a week to complete, or maybe longer given my track record. Now time to prime the walls. Here's a tip to save money on paint, especially if you're switching from a darker color to a lighter one. Use a primer. Primer is usually a lot cheaper than paint, and not only helps your paint adhere better, but also reduces the number of coats you need, which means you save both time and money on your project. Once the primer was dry, I painted the two side walls white using Chantilly Lace by Benjamin Moore. After the sides had completely dried, I covered it with painter's tape and plastic to make sure they stayed clean while I was painting the back wall black. For the back wall, I use Onyx by Benjamin Moore. It's one of my favorite black color paints. It's the same one that I use for my pantry cabinets. After everything had dried, it was time to move on to building the floating shelves. For this, I use 1/2 inch plywood for the shelves and 2x2 pine wood for the support. I cut the plywood for the shelves to size using my circular saw and rib cut guide. Here's a clip of me using the rib cut guide and my circular saw when I was building the cabinet. This tool is an awesome tool to have if you don't have the space for a table saw or if a table saw is currently not in your budget. Once that was done, I primed and painted all 4 pieces. For the black paint, I used Onyx by Benjamin Moore, which is the same color as the wall, except I made sure to use a cabinet grade paint to make sure it will last on the shelves. The cabinet paint is specifically designed to handle wear and tear. I'll make sure to link the one I used below. Next, we installed the supports for the shelves using the 2x2. I forgot to record a clip of this step, but we used a 2x2 pine wood and made sure to mount the support to the studs on the wall so they can be secure. If you're wondering why I put a piece of plastic before clamping the shelf pieces, it's to protect the freshly painted surface. This cabinet paint that I use takes about a week to fully cure, and it only been a couple of days since I painted them, so I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't damage the paint. To assemble the shelves, I use wood glue, clamps, and brad nails to attach the top, bottom, and front piece to the support. Make sure you have a wet rag close by to wipe off all the excess glue, or you can use some baby wipes, which is my favorite thing to do because it makes it so much easier. As you can see, I have a big pack that I usually buy at Walmart, or I'll buy like at Costco and Sam's Club. After the shelves, we moved to building the cabinets. I won't go into details here since I've already created a dedicated video with all the step-by-step instructions of how I built this cabinet, so I will link that below. But here are some sped up clips of me building this cabinet. Once the cabinet was complete, we installed the slat walls. I used a pre-finished slat wall kit made of red oak. I cut them to size for each section and secured them to the wall using brad nails. I will link the slat kit I used below in the description. I used a 1x2 piece of wood to determine the placement of each piece to make sure they were evenly spaced. So each piece were about 3/4 of an inch apart. I forgot to take a video, so here's a picture of me using scrap pieces of wood that are 3/4 of an inch wide in order to space them evenly. This took us about an hour to do. What took the longest time was cutting each piece of wood to fit properly. Once that was done, I decorated the space and I absolutely love how it turned out. I can hide all of my clutter inside the cabinet and only display the beautiful things and my plants. Some of the decor pieces are still available to purchase, while others I've had for years, so I will link everything that's still available for you below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and that it inspired you and empowered you to pick up a power tool to create a functional, beautiful space that you love coming home to.